My name is Christine, and today's practice is called Tonglen. And I was thinking about what I wanted to share, and this thing kept coming up where I've had the great privilege of hearing people speak after they do their 3-year silent retreat. Has anyone here either done a really extensive long retreat or know someone who's done like a year or something like that? No, yeah, I only know like about 3 people. And what happens is they're in complete silence for 3 years, and they come out sometimes every year to speak. But definitely, once they complete their 3 year of silence, of meditation and practice, they come out and people gather to hear like what they want to share, like any insights that they've had. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the first time I was gonna hear it, and I've heard this only through a recording, I haven't been there in person. I was like, I'm gonna hear the deepest wisdom. And I was like so excited. And by far, each of them say the same thing. And it's not what I expected. They say, just be kind to others, serve other people. When you're feeling good, serve other people, make offerings. When you're in a hard situation, you're feeling challenged, serve others. That's the wisdom that they all give after meditating for 3 years. And I thought it was really interesting and really profound because I expected to hear something else. And so this practice is it's translated as giving and taking. And we rely on pranayama, so using our breath to move the winds in our body, move the thoughts in our body. And we do this by exchanging ourselves with others. That's kind of like the terminology used. And what we're doing when we say like exchanging self for other, what we're practicing, what we're nourishing is sort of dissolving this boundary between me and you, this idea of other, right? And we're nourishing the roots of our happiness, remembering that we're all so intimately interconnected. And one of the methods that is used for developing this sort of what's called bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the wish to get free, to get enlightened for the sake of all other beings. It's remembering that we're all in the same boat. We're all here, and we all experience a level of suffering. Even if someone has a great life, great family, partner, job, they say all of that will eventually end, So this like pervasive suffering that exists as well, like when we have a good meal, and then it's like before we're even done eating, we're like, I want dessert. And like, we're just always like grasping for the next thing because we seemingly can't get satiated, right? And so the practice of remembering that we've all been each other's mothers, we've all been around this cycle of life, meaning of death and rebirth, so many times that they say we've all worn every kind of body. We've all been each other's mothers. And when we think about our mothers or anyone who's taken for us, they've helped us, they've fed us, they've helped us, put clothes in our back, taught us how to tie our shoelaces. Like, they've nourished us so much. And when we think of the idea of mother, we immediately, I think, can come to the conclusion that like we want to repay their kindness. And so there's a method and a practice of walking around our reality and looking at strangers, people that we have aversions to, and remembering like, wow, that person's been my mom. Like, how can I repay their kindness? How can I exchange myself with them in that moment? And it could just be as simple as a thought. And through that practice, what happens is we end up dissolving that boundary between feeling like I'm separate from you and vice versa. I hope this all makes sense. It's a really beautiful practice, and what that can look like is just walking around your reality and just bringing that to mind until something begins to happen. And it's different for each of us, but there's an emotion that begins to arise. And so this practice is a very energetic practice, and it relies on this saying called Lung Sem Jukpa Chikpa, which means the thoughts and winds ride together like a horse and a rider. And the winds meaning what's keeping our bodies animated right now, alive, is a life force energy, our prana. And that prana, the winds in our body, that's what they're called, also on top of it ride our thoughts. And so when we do asana, yoga, physical yoga, the reason why we feel good is because we're working with our physical body to engage our subtle body. Our subtle body is where all of the winds flow, right? And so when we're doing yoga and we're practicing that way, we're working on the outer level to shift the inner body, the subtle body. And so in this practice, what we're doing is we're working from the inside out. We're working to move our mind, to bring our mind to compassion, bring our mind to love, so that it can affect our pranic body, our subtle body, and then will in turn affect our thoughts. So I hope that makes sense. I could just teach a whole workshop on this, and I feel like maybe I will someday because there's so much information to be had. Morgan's like, I'm going to pop in and say yes. All right, awesome. So we'll practice together. I'll guide us through it. And I'll briefly say what we're going to be doing is imagining someone in our lives that is experiencing some level of suffering, and we're going to see this in their body as this black smoke, and we can see it at different, wherever you perceive, maybe it's mental and you'd see the smoke predominantly in their mind, right? But you see it in different parts of their body, and we use our breath to begin sweeping that smoke towards their heart center and having it compact into a tiny seed. And then we draw that out, and then we destroy that seed for them. And we do inhale it in our bodies, but it gets completely destroyed. And I want to assure you that there's no harm that can come to you by doing that. And the logical way to explain that is that karma is the universal law of cause and effect. And no one can take someone else's karma. And when we're seeing someone in suffering, it's our mind perceiving that suffering in the unique way in which we're experiencing it. That it doesn't mean it's not real, that person isn't experiencing the thing or isn't doing a particular thing. That's very real. But the unique way that we are experiencing it has to do with our own karma. And so when we exchange ourselves with others in that way, what we're really doing is directly engaging with dissolving the roots of our own suffering. And so it's completely safe. And just get curious about what arises as you're moving through the practice. Is there a moment where there's a hesitation, where the body tenses? Is there fear? And see if you can call in that trust, and trust that your compassion is your power, and the love that we have to give is ultimately what dissolves any and all suffering. I talked a lot today. Let's practice. Yeah. All right, so find a comfortable position. Welcome, Christine, just in time to practice. And wherever you are, just allow the eyes to lower as you settle into your posture, just tuning into the body, making sure that it's in a position conducive for you to practice today. So maybe if you're super achy in the body, you might want to lay down on your back. No matter what, whether you're laying or sitting straight, just making sure that your spine is nice and elongated, stacking one vertebrae on top of the other. And just allowing that to be your foundation, the thing that holds you up in alignment. And allowing all of the muscles, all of the tissue layers to just surrender and let go. And so with each breath, begin to scan your physical body. Noticing if there are any areas that are holding or experiencing any tension. Allowing each breath to invite a gentle dissolution. Inviting the body to relax. Softening every muscle in the body, especially the areas of the shoulders, the upper back. And allowing that relaxation to just trickle down the arms. Feeling the hands rest on your lap if you're seated, or alongside your body if you're laying down. And just noticing your breathing body in this moment. And so begin to bring your awareness to the physical sensation of the breath. Where do you feel it most viscerally? Maybe it's at the belly. Feeling the expansion and contraction. Or noticing the rise and fall of the chest. Or perhaps it's at the tip of the nose. Feeling that life force energy entering your body. Feeling the coolness of each inhale. Allowing that to brighten the mind, bringing this subtle awakening. And feeling the warmth of each exhale. Allowing that to connect us to the present moment. Feeling that exhale collect all of our attention to right here, right now. And so we'll take a few rounds of breath on our own here, just observing, witnessing without judgment. And inviting the thought of breathing for all those who have difficulty breathing. can we think about all the people who might have addictions to maybe smoking, all the people in the world who might be on respirators, all the people in the world who might just have any form of challenges towards them inhaling freely, easily. And can we take a breath for them? Noticing how that simple thought encourages a shift, amplifies something as simple as the breath, something that we do all the time throughout our days. And so with the next inhale, allow that to drop you at the center of your heart. Feeling the breath in that space. The heart chakra is located right in front of the spine at the heart level. And so that is the seat of our consciousness, where all of our reality is projected from. And so in that space, begin to visualize a blooming flower. This is a symbol of your compassion, your desire and wish for every being, including yourself, to be free from suffering. It's also a symbol of your love, the wish for everyone, including yourself, to be happy, to experience joy. And nestled within the center of this blooming flower, you see this tiny diamond. It's clear, bright, and indestructible. And this is a symbol of your deep wisdom that understands how things function beyond the world of appearances. This wisdom that understands the universal law of cause and effect, and that everything is up for transformation, that nothing is fixed, and that our minds are actually malleable. And so with these two symbols at our hearts, it begins to transform our body into a body of light. And so imagine seeing this rippling effect of light begin to disperse throughout your whole body. Your body becomes almost translucent. And once your body begins to fill up with this light, it doesn't only transform your body, but also gives you the ability to see inside someone's body. And so imagine one person in your life that might be going through some sort of pain or suffering, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical. See them in a room, maybe their favorite place where they feel safe and comfortable. And even though you can see them, they can't see you. And as you begin to take a look at their current body and their state, you can see how their suffering has accumulated inside of them. And you begin to see this as this black smoke traveling throughout their body, noticing that in certain areas it's more predominant than others. And so because you have this immense love and compassion in your heart, you decide to remove their pain. And so begin by collecting that smoke within their body with each breath. Imagining sweeping the inside of their body, collecting all of that black smoke towards their heart. Compacting it all until it begins to form a tiny little black seed, as small as a chia seed. Each breath is powerful and meaningful and doesn't leave a trace behind. Taking a couple more rounds of breath, making sure that all has been collected. And once that feels complete for you, begin to inhale and draw that seed out from their body, allowing it to travel up through their throat until it comes out of their nose and comes to hover right in front of you. And as you stare at this tiny seed, you begin to be filled with this emotion and desire to want to completely destroy that seed. And so you decide to inhale that seed, and we'll do this together. We'll inhale on the count of 3, and we'll see that seed begin to enter our body. And we'll visualize our translucent body of light even before it makes its way down to the seed of our heart. It begins to dissolve. So we'll do this on 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Imagining the seed begin to dissolve even before it begins to enter. And by the time it makes its way down your own throat, it's already begun to vanish until it's completely gone. And you exhale out a little bit of white smoke. And as soon as you do this, this light begins to emerge from the center of your heart. This is a golden light, as bright as 1,000 suns. And this light begins to pour out of your heart, right into their hearts, and begins to give them everything that they need to feel whole, to feel safe, healthy, happy. This light brings them immense peace and joy. And imagine seeing this light fill their entire body until it begins to surpass the edges of their being. And once that's complete for you, begin to withdraw your light, anchoring that light back into your heart. Until you have this tiny crystallized diamond right at the center of you. And on your next exhale, you can release the visualization wherever you're at. And dedicating the benefits of your practice today to all beings on this planet. May they experience love and happiness, and may they be free from suffering and its causes. And slowly taking some deeper intentional breaths. Feeling the weight of your body resting on the earth. Remembering that you are fully supported. And whenever you're ready, allowing the eyes to blink open. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for practicing today.